We three kings of Orient are, bearing gifts we traverse afar, field and fountain, moor and mountain, following yonder star. So go the first few lines of the classic carol, We Three Kings. Yet nowhere in Matthew's gospel where we read about the Magi are they ever actually called kings, nor are they ever said to come riding on camels. How did the Magi become kings who arrive on camelback? First, let's go back to the Gospel of Matthew, where we read the story. According to the Gospel, the Magi come from the east after having seen the star, which we discussed in the last video. In addition, we're told that the Magi come bearing gifts, gold, frankincense, and myrrh. We're never told how many Magi there are, but later Christian sources would often assume that there were three of them because there were three gifts. This is not unanimous, however. There's an ancient Syriac work, for example, called The Revelation of the Magi, which indicates that there were 12 different Magi. Moreover, early church writers like Irenaeus, Clement of Alexandria, Origen thought that the gifts could be seen as having symbolic value, pointing to different aspects of Christ's identity. The gold points to Jesus' royal identity. The frankincense, or just incense, signifies his divinity because you offer incense in worship. And the myrrh was seen as anticipating his death. Ancient Christian writers, as well as even contemporary biblical scholars, also see allusions to Old Testament prophecies in the story of the Magi. For example, in Isaiah, we read about what will happen in the future day of Israel's deliverance. We're told, a multitude of camels shall cover you. The young male camels of Midian and Ephah, we read. All those from Sheba shall come. They shall bring gold and frankincense and shall proclaim the praise of the Lord. And it goes on to talk about how sons of a foreign country shall build up your walls and their king shall minister to you, that men may bring to you the wealth of the nations with their kings led in procession. It's from Isaiah 60, verse 6 and 10 and 11. Now, since the gifts of gold and frankincense are in Isaiah, and they come with kings and camels, Isaiah's oracles were merged with Matthew's story of the Magi bringing gold and frankincense. Moreover, the tradition that we have of depicting the Magi coming on camels, it's related to this. The reason we have nativity sets that indicate that the Magi look like the figures in Isaiah is to testify to the idea that this is a prophecy that is fulfilled in Christ. Another important passage that was connected with the story of the Nativity is Psalm 72. Here the psalmist talks about how foreign kings will come and bring gifts to the Son of David. The version of the psalm in the Greek version of the Old Testament contains a lot of parallels with Matthew's narrative. We read, kings of Tarsus and of the isles will offer gifts. Kings of Arabs and of Sheba will supply gifts. And all the kings will worship him. All the nations will serve him. Psalm 72. This psalm was easily interpreted as a prophecy about Jesus, who's clearly presented as the son of David in Matthew. So just as the nations worship the king, the son of David in Psalm 72, so the Magi worship Jesus in Matthew's gospel. And there are all kinds of connections between Psalm 72 and Matthew's depiction of the Magi. Go on and talk about others. But the Magi are typically understood in Christian tradition as pointing forward to the church's mission to the Gentiles, which is announced at the end of the Gospel of Matthew. Jesus tells the disciples there, "Go therefore and make disciples of all nations." In fact, the Magi come searching for the King of the Jews. Now, Jews would have likely used a different expression, the King of Israel. And you see this in the Passion narrative later in Matthew. The Jewish bystanders at the cross refer to Jesus as the King of Israel, but the Romans write the King of the Jews. And so it seems like the Magi are Gentiles. In addition, the story of the Magi concludes with the story of the slaughter of the innocent children at Bethlehem at the hands of the wicked King Herod. Here we see that the coming of the Messiah will also usher in suffering, because not all will accept him. I want to thank you for watching these videos that we've been presenting here on the Christmas season. Hope you've enjoyed them. Hope you have a very wonderful Epiphany. Until next time, one more time, Merry Christmas.